Chris. I'm about to take you on a tour of the historical markers in Spalding County, Georgia. Now, I just want to let you know that a lot of these historical markers deal with the Confederacy. They was put up in the 1950s. That's more than 50 years ago, more than 60 years ago. And back then, the attitudes was a whole lot different than they are today. So, just understand that. And them markers probably ain't gonna be around another 20 years. We're already talking about sandblasting Stone Mountain, so I'm sure in a few years, the markers will be yanked up, thrown in the recycle bin. Alright, well, let's get going. I'll be showing you the first one here in just a minute. Hope you enjoy this as much as I do. One other thing I forgot to tell you. The historical markers on this video does not include the ones related to Doc Holliday. I did that on a separate video. So go to my channel and you can find that video, or just do a search for Doc Holliday Spalding County or Doc Holliday Griffin. Okay, now I'm gonna get started with this tour. I'm not sure why they placed them about half a mile from the marker. I'm not sure why they placed it where they did. But it's here at the corner of East McIntosh Road and Old Atlanta Road. I'm showing you what it looks like around here. And if you're coming out to look, you have to get up on the grass over here to park, because there ain't no good parking to look at this thing. But it's fairly interesting to see. Going to the next one. I'm at the historical marker here at the Georgia Experiment Station, and I can't get within 6 feet up because they got this, they got it inside their wrought iron fence, sort of protecting the property here. I'll use my camera and zoom in on it in a minute, take you a picture that you'll be able to read. But what it discusses there is some of the successes of the experiment station in developing new crops and such. It's pretty interesting to read. I've read it, and I'll shoot you a close-up copy here in a minute. But I'm going to show you what's around it. The thing I was looking at to find it said it was at Experiment Street and Stuckey Street, or Stuckey Drive. There ain't no Stuckey Drive. I don't know what name that little street is right there, that black car is at, but it ain't Stuckey Drive. But it's right here, if you're trying to find it yourself, it's right here from the experiment stations. Get on Experiment Street and ride down it till you see this black fence. Alright. Now, I decided to take a little bit of time and ride around and look at the different historical markers in Spalding County. Now, I got one major complaint. A lot of them are difficult to get to. Like the one at the experiment stations, located on the other side of a wrought iron fence. You can't get within 6 or 8 feet of it from the street side. And even to get there, to get near it, you have to jump up off the street, go across a curb, drive across some grass. And then, they just don't, they stick them things in what they feel are good locations and bring a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. The one back there for a Confederate camp was half a mile from the camp, it said. And it was at a busy intersection, so I guess that's why they put it there. But if they're gonna put these things up, they need to make sure they got a little bit of parking right there to let people stop and look at them and read them. Don't get up close to them. And so far they just ain't doing it. And I've noticed that in the past around the state when I've ridden around. That's great to give them a little historical marker up, and all these people are proud because they got the state to stick them up with a historical marker about something. What difference does it make if nobody can stop and read it? So, if you're one of the people that has some influence on where they put these things, make sure there's a place for cars to pull off right there and people to get out and go up there and read it. You know, don't put it there where somebody get killed trying to get out and see it. Okay, just give that some thought. Now, I'll give you a holler when I get to my next one. Hope you enjoy this tour as much as I am. Hey, what you're looking at is workers working on the City Hall building. And the reason I'm showing you that is there's supposed to be a historical marker right in front of the City Hall building, telling the history a little bit of Mr. Griffin, who Griffin's named after. But they're working on that old building, so I guess they took down the historical marker temporarily. So, but that's what the building looks like. If you want to come over here and see if you can find it, do a better job than me. I am at Camp Stevens Park over here on Jackson Street. And this was a infantry camp named after Alexander Stevens, who was a vice president of the Confederacy. And this is one of two Camp Stevens parks. There's another one right around the corner, which has a marker on it for Doc Holliday. But that sign tells you a little about it. You'll see a photo of the sign in a minute that you can read. But this is located in a public park. Now these berms here was from the Civil War. They'd hide behind them and shoot from them. So I don't think there's actually a battle down here. That's what did their training. It ain't a bad little park here. It's in the middle of a residential subdivision. You know, modest homes. There's a couple duplexes in here too. It's just south of East McIntosh and west of 9th Street, I think it is. Alright, let me get a photo of this sign for you. This sign is near the home of John McIntosh Kell. He was the first U.S. naval officer to resign and offer his services to the Confederacy. At his home place here, he also had Sidney Lanier visit him one time, and Sidney Lanier wrote the poem Corn. This is what the area looks like. This don't say that that the house was here. It says his house was near here. Now this looks real rural, and it is fairly rural. We're right here at just south of Sunnyside, which, if you're not familiar with Griffin, it's metropolis. This is a couple miles south to Griffin. Alright. Sure about this. This don't look like a regular historical marker. And for the Rotary International. But it's here at College Street and South Hill Street. It's sort of just south of downtown Griffin. You just want to see what's around here. And it just explains that Paul Harris started it, and it's a worldwide organization. of business leaders. And so, all right, that's it for this one. I have 3 historical markers right here side by side. The first one speaks of the Orphan Brigade. Part of Kentucky Infantry. And it goes through a little bit long story about it. I'm about to take a picture of it so you can read it. Okay? Okay, this one deals with the Georgia militia at Griffin. It talks about them being here and moving around some when Griffin wasn't in the direct line they thought it was being and such. I'm about to take a picture of it so you can read it real good. Here tells the tale of the Confederate cemetery here. It has several hundred Confederate soldiers buried in here and 1 Union soldier. And there's a picture of it over there. And this is right here on East Taylor Street, just east of downtown Griffin. You got Buck Cemeteries right here. And, you know, it's this is really a beautiful place. This is within the Confederate Cemetery, which is dedicated to the women who served, the women of Griffin and Spalding County who gave their services during the war between the states. And this is donated by the United Daughters of the Confederacy. This is within the cemetery. There's another sign out front there. It talks about 39 trees in here. And I started counting them. Only got like 25. I'll count them again here in a minute. Actual state historic marker. I'm including this because it ties in with the ones here. There are 39 trees within this cemetery are historic trees. They've been designated that by the Georgia Urban Forest Council in 2003. That's planted in about 1867. And I counted them. I came up a few short. Of course, trees don't live forever. But I think they lost 3 or 4. Okay. Okay, this historical marker talks a little about Ringgold community, how it built up around this Masonic Lodge here. I'm showing you that white building there. That's Masonic Lodge. It was built in 1849. It talks about a little bit about the war history and the Mothers Club. And it's the first home demonstration club. I don't know what that is. This is at the intersection of Jackson Road and Wizzo Road. It's a rural setting. They said that a church, I forget the name of it, was formed across the streets. I guess that's it there where my truck's parked. Alright, that's it on this one. I had given up on this one, and I've been riding around the city park here 2 or 3 times trying to find it. And I'd given up on it, and I was headed out, and I finally saw it. Now, if you're looking for this thing, the best way I can tell you to find it is back here against the golf course, but it's not on the big road that circles all the way around. There's a little bitty circle in here with a pavilion in the middle. And there's the pavilion there. And it's on the, I guess you'd say, the south side of that. And it looks like you got a bathtub sitting in front of it. I don't know what this thing is, a horse trough or something. But from the distance, let me back up a little bit. Without seeing the depth of it, the width, you'd think it's a bathtub or something. Alright, well, I don't know what it was. I guess it's a metal horse trough. But anyhow, this park used to be Camp Milner. It was named for Ben Milner, who that little town south of us here was named for too. Prominent Spalding County man who gave financial aid and equipping companies from his county. Then it tells about Camp Stevens, which is north of Griffin on East McIntosh Road, and how Griffin, or Spalding County, furnished 9 companies to the Army, and that's Confederate Army, and several to the Georgia militia for local service. And Camp Milner, which this is, became Camp Northern, which was named for Governor Northern in 1898. During the Spanish-American War, it was a training camp and mobilization center for National Guard, and later it was a fairgrounds. It is now this municipal park I'm standing in. Well, that's pretty interesting. Now we're at the back end of the park. See, over there's a golf course, big golf course. It looks pretty nice. I understand this is the first week in December, so it don't look pretty as during the spring and summer. And that up there at the top of a hill is a gymnasium type deal with a skate park behind it. And right here is the pavilion you should keep your eyeballs open for when you're going through here looking for this Confederate Camp Milner marker. Okay? It's a little aggravating. Alright, that's it for this one. Two historical markers right side by side. I'm at the intersection of Fannin Road and South Hill Street in Griffin, or Zebulon Road, whatever you want to call it. And this talks about the Fannin Avengers, which is a group that fought against Mexico in 1846 when President Polk called for volunteers to fight. And they were pretty courageous and such. And I'm about to take a picture of this so you can have time to read it by yourself. It's pretty interesting to read. One thing that's pretty interesting, we got an Army tank right here behind this sign. This is the headquarters of the National Guard right up here. You know, the local National Guard. The Georgia Army National Guard. And this is South Hill Street, or Zebulon Road. Well, it's still South Hill Street. They haven't changed the name here. And that's the Griffin Kiwanis Fair Association up here. That's where they hold the county fair or whatever. And Now I'm about to go get this other sign over here. It is interesting. It talks about the Spalding Grays, and they use a bunch of military stuff. I don't understand exactly, but there's the first military unit from Spalding County to be mustered in the Confederate Army. And the only earlier military unit from Spalding County was the Phantom Avengers, which served in the Mexican War I spoke about a minute ago. But the Spalding Grays, which was cranked up for the Civil War, for the Civil War, is still here today. It's still active. It's now known as, it has all these military names. I don't understand all that stuff, but it's 48th Reconnaissance something, 48th Armored Division, Georgia National Guard. And so that's these folks right here on the hill. And so it's amazing to me that this group, and I'm showing you a little bit of the area right here. I showed you another video a minute ago. There's the Kiwanis Fairgrounds. There's National Guard, and there's that tank over there. But I think it's great that the Spalding Grays still exist, although they don't have that same name anymore, but the same group, so to speak, has continued on to today. Alright, that's it for this one. Orchard Hill, and the first, according to this historical marker, the first grain elevator in Georgia was built here by Swint, and it's Swint Feed and Seed or something like that. But he is also a senator. And here's a little look around the area. I don't think those are the grain elevators that was built in 1946. But this is sort of a sleepy little town down here in South Spalding County. Okay, that's it for this one. Now this is interesting here too. I'm on Macon Road, across from the Quail Hollow subdivision. Spalding County was the first county between Chicago and Miami on the old Dixie Highway, with a concrete highway running from county line to county line. The first little piece they paved was up in front of the experiment station, which is on the north side of Griffin, in 1919. But then they end up passing a bond to pay the whole highway through the county. Now, that kind of stuff in history I like to read. You know, I've been riding around looking at these historical markers, and I'll tell you, one of the biggest problems I've seen with them is parking. I just had to park in somebody's front yard to read that last one. And, you know, on these busy highways and stuff, you know, there's a lot of places you pull over and read them. And I've also, you know, some of them ain't where they say they're going to be, and some of them are county things, not state things. And, you know, I've got online, I searched pretty good, got me some maps and such, and they ain't where they point them out to be on the maps. They're just not a good source for that information. By the way, I ain't shaved in about a week. I just ain't felt like it. Normally I shave every day or two. But it has been highly interesting. You know, I mean, did you ever know the first grain elevator in the state of Georgia was put in Orchard Hill, Georgia? I mean, that's just little stuff like that. It's just amazing to know. All right, I just got, I think, 4 more to go through in downtown Griffin. They might not get done today because they're still in business hours. There ain't no way I'll find a place to park around most of those. I'll give them the next day or two so we'll get this video put together. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the Spalding County historical markers. We still got a little bit more to go though. Okay, I'm now at the corner of West Taylor Street and New Orleans Street. And this historic marker talks about the founding of Griffin and how General Lewis Lawrence Griffin sold lots to the highest bidder on June 8, 1840, thus establishing the city of Griffin. And William Lake bought the first lot. There's New Orleans Street there, just a little one-lane street. Pretty interesting. There's my truck from the Advanced Auto Parts. That's looking west down West Taylor. And this looking east down West Taylor. Okay, that's it for this one. I'm at West Broad Street and just east of 10th Street. And this historical marker here says the same thing as the last one I just left about the founding of Griffin from a stump near the town spring, now covered by the embankment of the railroad. On June 8, 1840, General Lewis Lawrence Griffin sold lots to the highest bidder, thus establishing the city of Griffin. First lot was sold to William Link. Okay, let me show you where we're at here now. That's looking towards downtown, and that's the railroad track right there. Now, the railroad track at the other one was just on the other side of New Orleans Street, but it was below grade, so you couldn't see it. There's West Broad Street going back towards 10th Street. I'm not sure what all this stuff is next to us here inside this fence. Okay. Street behind the courthouse now. This one talks about the founding of Spalding County, how it came from Fayette, Henry, and Pike counties. And they don't mention it, but at one time this was part of the state of Florida, believe it or not. Okay, and here's the area it's in. I'm actually parked in a parking place that's reserved for Superior Court judges from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it's about 5:15. But I don't reckon they're gonna get me. Okay, that's what it looks like here. We actually made it through all of the historical markers in Spalding County, Georgia today. Now there's some local markers I didn't pick up on today. and maybe I should have, but I was trying to stick to just the state markers, the ones that the state felt was significant enough to put a marker out here. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tour as much as I did. I learned a lot. I found it to be real educational and aggravating as far as the parking and all that goes. And driving around this much is always a little bit aggravating. So, anyhow, hope you had a great time. Next time you see me, I probably will have shaved. Okay? Alright. Bye-bye.